this week. I am Amarachi Ubani. As you already know, Syria has said yes to a plan suggested by Russia that it submits an account of its stockpile of chemical weapons and prepared to hand them over to be destroyed by mid-2014. Syria, however, still denies allegations that it was behind the August 21st attack in which hundreds were said to have died. It accuses rebels of carrying it out. The UN weapons inspectors who visited the scene of the attack released their report soon, though they're only limited to determining whether or not chemical weapons were used on that day, but not to portion blame. But there are reports from the UN human rights investigators that there is evidence that chemical weapons had been used on several other occasions. They're also studying whether war crimes, including mass executions, rape and torture, are continuing.
France, Britain and the United States agreed at three-way Paris talks to seek a strong and robust UN resolution that sets precise and binding deadlines on removal of chemical weapons. The statement followed talks involving the foreign ministers of the three countries and Hollande in French capital 2 days after Russia and the United States hammered out a deal on chemical weapons that could avert US military action. Overcoming bitter differences, Kerry and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov struck a deal in Geneva on Saturday on removal of President Bashar al-Assad's chemical arsenal, in a move that may avert US military action. After a month in which Moscow and Washington failed to agree a line on Syria, Kerry and Lavrov demanded Assad account for his secret stockpile within a week and let international inspectors eliminate all the weapons by the middle of next year. Under the terms of the US-Russian agreement, the UN Security Council, on which Russia has a veto, will oversee the process. The agreement states that a Security Council resolution should allow for regular assessments of Syria's behavior, and in the event of non-compliance, the UN Security Council should impose measures under Chapter 11 of the UN Charter. Chapter 11 can include force, but can be limited to other kinds of sanction. When Kerry said the Council must impose measures under Chapter 11, Lavrov interrupted to point out that the agreed text says only should impose penalties.
But we'll be taking a detour from Syria this week to discuss Rwanda, which votes this Monday for a new parliament, with the governing RPF widely expected to retain its huge majority. Rwanda is the world's only parliament where women form a majority. Hopefully, the violence that occurred on Friday would not affect the polls, even though it could be a threat. Welcome back. Now, much earlier, I had a chat with the Rwandan High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Joseph Habeniza, about the country's parliamentary elections and other matters. Ambassador Habeniza, thank you so much for joining us on Diplomatic Channel. Let's talk about your country's relations with Nigeria. How would you describe it?
Our relation with Africa or Nigeria, but of the both. Rwanda and Nigeria, we are enjoying the very good bilateral relations. Since 2011, Rwanda has opened our High Commission in Abuja, and since last year, Nigeria opened their High Commission in Kigali, and there's an ambassador there, and me too, I'm here. So we have, in 2011, when President Jonathan visited Rwanda in October 5th, I think, we signed general agreement for cooperation, and immediately we started implementation. But actually, even we have started implementation before it was signed, because I know we have been sending senior officers to come for courses, either in Kaduna, Jaji College, or in Abuja War College. We have been receiving Nigerians who are volunteers in health sector, who are working in Rwanda, and actually recently with the new new DG for the volunteers, Ambassador Pius. We are going to increase the number of volunteers in Rwanda. We have business people, private, who are open their businesses in Rwanda, because to register a company in Rwanda takes only 3 hours, and many are already going there. We have our national carrier, Rwandair, comes 5 times a week to Lagos. Nigerians, they know how to to go around and to know where there are nice prices and good services. So we are enjoying our national carrier, Rwandair.
So, well, Rwanda has always been synonymous with genocide. When you hear the name Rwanda, you always think genocide. But you're helping to change that perspective.
Thank you that you say that the perception has changed, because I know and I agree with you. In the recent years, not far than 205, 206, always when they were speaking or when somebody tell you about Rwanda, everybody was checking. Oh, that's where they kill people. Now it's the past. It's in the past. We have put it behind us. So we've worked hard to change that perception, trying to be the best in everything we do, doing business, being clean, being environmental friendly, being investors friendly, and opening up. By the way, you know that now Rwanda is the only country in Africa where every African citizen can enter without getting visa from his embassy.
Really?
Now you get visa on arrival. Okay. Every African, specifically African, we specify that. And it is recent. It is since January 2013. And really I should appeal to other countries to do so. Because how do you want Africans to do business? How do you want Africans to discover each other if they don't travel easily?
So there's been a lot of talk. Interesting you should say that, because there's been a lot of talk about integration in Africa. It's one of the major objectives that the African Union hopes to achieve. But one of the roadblocks is the different divides on the continent, the Francophone, the Anglophone, and it's difficult for them to integrate. But it's interesting that, you really don't need visas to get to Rwanda.
Yeah, first of all, about those languages. Okay, maybe here somebody, when you are from a kid, you have to speak English because you have different languages. But also even that, the language is just for communication. First of all, we have to feel as Africans, despite of saying I'm Francophone, I'm Anglophone. We have the same, in the beginning we had the same problem in Rwanda, because with the genocide and all the history background what Rwanda has, we had people who came from English-speaking country coming back, former refugees, people coming from French-speaking country. So we have now all Rwandans there. Some speaking French, others speaking English, but all of us having one language, which is our Kinyarwanda, our language. So what we decide now is to make those 3 languages official languages. Now in Rwanda we have 3 official languages: English, French, Kinyarwanda. And now the teaching language is English, but we took it by strategy, as for strategical reasons. Because if you look around, down there, all countries speak English. East is Uganda and Kenya and Tanzania, they speak English. It's only West and South, Burundi and DRC. But as bilingual, we can give good services to all these countries. But even that, Africans should first think Africa. You know, language you can learn. But to be African, you are born African. So now talking about integration. Integration needs first communication and people moving. Free movement of people. Look at Europe, EU. They have removed barriers.